Hello, looks like we're going live. I'll give everyone a few minutes to pop in. I'm going to move over to the comments here. Oh yeah, here's some. Hi. Oh, thank you. You love my makeup? I have very little on. I don't wear a lot of makeup. How are you guys doing? Did you see my shirt? Is my shirt cute? I really like a new gypsy shirt. You are the first one. Oh, we're going to give everyone a couple minutes to kind of come in, and then we'll get started. I know it's kind of a strange time. Hi, Julie. Hi, Susan. Hi, Morgan. Hi, Tori. Oh, it's so good to say hi to all of you. I feel like it's been a little while. Oh, thanks, Susan. Yeah, look at my shirt. It's our Wonderlust Roses Gypsy Rose shirt. I made it. I thought it was kind of fun. It's such a fun celebration today. Can't wait to tell you guys about the story behind Gypsy. Whatever time it works, I can watch later. Yeah, especially on this platform is nice because it saves it to YouTube, and so people can watch it later. So that's what's nice about this platform versus doing it on Facebook Live. Facebook Live's they kind of disappear after a while. So, hey Stephanie, oh, I'm glad you like my shirt. Yeah, look, Grace Rose, Wonderlust Roses Gypsy. Page, yeah, it has been. I know. It's like, whew, wow. Let me tell you, every Memorial Day weekend for the past 27 years, I think I've been in horticulture. I always think to myself, why did I choose horticulture? Because May is such an intense month, but we're getting caught up and we're to the point where like, okay, I think we can breathe maybe a little bit again. So we're excited to be back. We have so much fun content planned for you this summer. And so it kind of starts today. I'm going to give everyone just a few more minutes to pop in. Ashley says we need to hear Fleetwood Mac's song's Gypsy in the background. That's a great idea. Hey, maybe that could be Gypsy Rose's like theme song, Hi, Lilius. Hey, Gracie. Gracie's joining us. All right. Well, okay, let's get started. I'm so excited to be back online with you guys and to introduce you to this rose. This rose has been in the works for a long time, and it's been hard not to talk about it because I've been so excited about it. The journey with this rose really started at my time at Star just years ago. Gypsy Rose is bred by Mayon, and you might be thinking, oh, it kind of looks like pink tumbleweed. It came out of a breeding program with pink tumbleweed, but it had a very different things that they were looking for. They were looking for longer stems and vase life. And that's what Gypsy is. Gypsy is bred and designed for bouquet making. So it has a lot longer stems. Of course, this is a 1 gallon plant. This is the size plant you'll receive. They look incredible right now in our fields. We just love this rose. It creates so many sprays. As it gets bigger, it's going to get like 24 inches. It can sometimes get taller than that, but it creates these really long stems with sprays. And they have vase life of 10 to 14 days. So it's the perfect filler plant. Whereas pink tumbleweed has a little bit shorter stems. Pink tumbleweed is awesome in containers and along your borders. But if you want a cutting rose that has that baby's breath look, then Gypsy Rose is the one. So Gypsy Rose is introduced all over the world with different florist growers. It's also found to grow really good outside. So this has been trialed and tested in the US since 2020. So it's been in the US for about 6 years. So I had to go through quarantine, and then I had to go through a bunch of outdoor trials. So I saw this in trials in Pennsylvania in Rose Hell. And, for a micro rose, it did really well. And it tends to like warm, sunny days and cool nights is what its like favorite atmosphere is. Sometimes in humidity, you can get a little bit of mildew on it, but it just needs a lot of like airflow. But the thing with this rose is that it's really the perfect companion to all of your roses because it's nice to have that different texture. So Gypsy Rose is a Mayon bred rose. And we are so excited that we have been offered the exclusive in the US. So to sell this, we're also going to be trialing and testing it coming up this summer at Alexandra Farms in Columbia. And we're going to be sending some up to some other floral growers in California and have them take a look at it, that we can also sell this in bouquets as well. So let's see. Jenny says she's good for cutting too. Yeah, Gypsy has longer stems, so better for taller arrangements. Yep. Is it appropriate for pots? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, this summer I'm going to show you how you can use Gypsy Rose in pots. So you would use a little bit different than you would use pink tumbleweed because it does get a little bit taller. But as you can see, it kind of is fluttery and it's kind of almost bends. So it's such a cool texture to put like maybe in a small pot with something trailing like directly beside it. So I think that could be really fun. We could do that. Let's see, what's the zone? Good question. We've had lots of questions on the zone hardiness. So right now it's listed as zone 6 through 11. And I know some of you in zone 5 are disappointed. I truly think that it will be hardied in zone 5. We just haven't tested it in zone 5. You have to have 2 winters in a zone to be able to claim that zone. And so we don't have that yet. So if any of you live in zone 5 and want to trial it for us, we'd be willing to send you a free one to help us figure that out. We could pick a couple of you in a zone 5 because we would love to learn for sure if it is. I have a feeling that it is. Its own root. It's super easy to propagate. I have overwintered these in pots in a zone 6. And generally when you overwinter stuff in pots, it's generally a whole zone hardier in general. So I have a gut feeling that it will be good in 5, but we still need to find out for sure. Ashley asks, how are the thorns on her? The thorns are really sparse, Ashley. I'm going to show you. There are some. Okay, so let's clip this one. So let's see. This is maybe, I don't know, 10 inches long. And they have thorns at the nodes. So there's a thorn here, thorn there, thorn at the nodes. On the back of the foliage, there's just a little bit, but not crazy, which is nice. And up in the umbel up here in the spray, there's none, which is wonderful. So there's like 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 little thorns on this stem and some on the back. So that's a nice thing about it too, is not a lot of thorns. So longer stems. Of course, this is being cut from a 1-gallon plant. So right, this stem is not that long. When you grow it in the ground, they get really long stems on them. So I'm going to put that right here in with my Fatima Gardens and my Miyabi. So yeah, so we're really excited. And the thing blooms and blooms and blooms. Like it has such a strong propensity to bloom. Like you can see there's some finishing and they're just like every stage of bud is coming out, which is what we love, right? We want to be able to have fillers for our rose bouquets of all of our other roses. So what a cool, fun plant this is. Let's see. The size that we bought today, is it the same size as you have? Yeah, the one that's for sale on our website for $39. We did a fantastic introductory price on this plant because we want everyone to try them. We want you to try multiple ones. So this is the exact size that you'll get for $39. So I got a couple other ones here to show you kind of the average. So they look really, really good right now. They're like absolute perfection. So this is the size that you'll get for the 39. And off that 39, you can also use your coupon code. So really excited about Gypsy Rose. Let's see if there's any questions, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the fun we're going to have this summer together. Paige asked, will the price go up, you think? I think in time it will go back up to, normally our 1 gallons are $77. I think it will go up, Paige. We want to do just an introductory price on these to give everyone the chance to just try them out. It comes with our 1-year Grow with Gracie guarantee. And we just wanted to do a great deal so that you could feel confident in trying something new that's brand new to the market. So use your code. Yep, it was $40 with shipping included. Yeah, so it's a $10 flat shipping fee for each one. So it's a really great deal. So we are super excited about it. Some other differences between it and pink tumbleweed. A lot of you have pink tumbleweed in your yard. Pink tumbleweed, when it gets really hot, tends to go white really, really fast. Gypsy tends to hold its pink longer, for sure. Also, the flower is much larger. It's at least twice, if not 3 times the size of pink tumbleweed. So it's just basically like its bigger cousin, right? It's easier to cut, longer stems, bigger flowers. So yeah, so that's kind of some of the differences. Let's see, Kathleen. I don't know if you can hear all those 4-wheelers going by me. Summer in rural Utah. So it gets about 24 inches tall. It depends upon in the country. I've seen it a little bit taller than that. I've seen it a little bit shorter than that. It tends to make sprays though. Like you'll have these like big arms that will come out, which is good. That's what it's bred for. That's what it's designed for. So it's a little more like wild looking, which I really love. I love having that texture in a garden. So, oh yeah, Skylar, you guys see my shirt? Let's see if you can get a close up. Gypsy Rose. I had too much fun making this. It's just such a big deal. It's a pretty cool thing. So, what size of pot is recommended for Gypsy? If you're going to do it in a container, I would do at least like 14 inches, maybe. The larger you do it, the less you'll have to water it. You don't want to go too big, or you could or if you did like a big 24-inch pot, you could put 3 of them in there with a big tall grass or something in the middle. It would be really pretty. So, but yeah, I would definitely pot it up in a bigger size than these 1 gallons, because if not, you'll be watering it a lot, right? So they can stay in this pot for a little bit, but I would do at least a 14-inch pot, 16-inch pot to do that. So give it some room to grow and make it so you don't have to water it quite as much. All right. Gracie says we have Gypsy mother plants in 20-gallon containers of the nursery. She looks nice in a 20-gallon. Yeah, and she grows really upright and kind of and has these like arms that kind of like weep a little bit too, which is cool. Can we roll up a cute shirt like that to go in with our Gypsy Rose orders? I feel that'd be a great idea. That is a fun idea, Paige. Maybe we should do that. I don't know. Would you guys actually buy a t-shirt like this? I'm kind of a dork, but I like this kind of stuff. Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about some of the fun things that we're going to do this summer with Gypsy Rose. So because Gypsy Rose was designed and bred specifically to be with bouquets, you are going to hopefully join me for a journey where I'm going to plant a gypsy garden. And we're going to start from the very scratch. We're going to start from the very base. I'm going to show you everything from planting, soil tests, how to remove sod, how to amend your soil, how to do plant selection for your area. We're going to do planting. We're going to do fertilizing. We're going to talk about all the different types of mulch, and it's all going to be a cut flower garden. And I have this whole design. My house, you're going to see this summer, it's an old Victorian home, and I have this turret, which is like a rounded like window expanse. And I'm gonna do it all in front of that. And I have a few plants here that I selected that we're gonna talk a little bit about. Gypsy rose is gonna be my base because they will have flowers on it all summer. But everything about my gypsy garden is gonna be useful. It's gonna be low maintenance, because that's me. I'm busy. I have a very busy life. I work full time. I want to be able to plant a garden that doesn't have a lot of fuss. And I want to be able to just go out and cut. Like I want everything to serve a purpose. And to me, that's what kind of gypsy gardening is. It's like gathering and being and having useful plants that are easy. So I picked out a few things I'm just going to show you that we're going to be doing this summer together and talk a little bit about my plant selection and kind of my thoughts. Here in Utah, it's very hot and very dry, but we get cold winters. So the number one thing that you need to consider when you're planting a cut flower garden, a gypsy garden, is, you know, what kind of time, energy, and money do you have? That's the first thing. That's where I always start. You know that I need low maintenance, and I don't want to spend tons and tons of money maintaining it, and I don't. And also just, you know, I want it to be simple. The next thing you need to consider is, where is it? Your zone hardiness. So no matter what your plant selection is, if you pick plants that aren't zone hardy, right, you got to start there. So here I'm a zone 6, and I want everything to be at least a zone 6 or lower. I'm going to pick a lot of plants that are even more hardy than that, because we can have big fluctuations of temperatures in Utah, and that's what really affects winter hardiness the most of plants. Whenever it gets really hot and then really cold and really hot then really cold, you can sometimes have your cell walls kind of expand and break, and that's what kills plants. And so it's fluctuating temperatures is another really important factor. So here in Utah, we have that a lot. So I want to make sure I have plenty of zone 6 plants in my yard that have not made it. So I'm going to be really focusing on zone 5, maybe putting a few 6 in. Gypsy is a 6. I know it lives here. That's why I think it's pretty good bet that it's probably a zone 5. But I also want it to be super drought tolerant. So for me, in my situation and in my garden, we're having the biggest drought on record in Utah, and it's very likely our irrigation will be shut off. They've already shut it off a couple times on a couple days. And so I want to pick plants that that are low maintenance, that are winter hardy enough for me. They'll be great as a cut. Like the whole purpose of this garden for me, this gypsy garden, is to be able to enjoy the things in there and bring it into my home. So fragrance is going to be a big deal to me, texture, color. So I've done a lot of thinking about what this could look like, and I have a few plants here that I just want to show you to give you a little sneak peek of the fun that we're going to have together this summer. So Miley asked if we can see gypsy rose again. You sure can. Yeah, Miley, this is gypsy rose here. So you can see it creates those really beautiful sprays, much taller. And I'm sorry, my computer is trying to do an update. I'm going to say no. Updates always happen when you don't want them, right? So gypsy rose is a lot different than pink tumbleweed because the flowers are a lot bigger. They're at least double, if not triple. They stay pink longer and they have longer stems. So these were bred for cuts. So you can see this is the 1 gallon size, or the number 1 potted rose that we have on sale for $39. And that's before you use any sort of coupon. So we have a 20% off for everyone. If you're a member and you have your 25% off coupon code, you can use this on this, and it's a $10 flat shipping fee. So Lilius asked, what are the dimensions of the plant full grown? It's about 24 inches by 24 inches. I've seen it get a little taller than that, and I've seen a little shorter. But the main part of the plant, the bushy part of the plant, is generally about 2 feet, and then you'll get these sprays that will kind of shoot up from that too. So it's not necessarily along the edge of your border. I think it's more in the center of your border or in between rose bushes. So whereas pink tumbleweed is really good right along the border because it's short, right? It's like 18 inches or shorter. This one's going to get taller. So you'll want to move this back a little bit. So this is going to mix really well with things like Here's scabiosa, pincushion flower. Is such a great cut flower. It's super drought tolerant. It blooms forever. It's deer resistant. It'd be like the same kind of place. You would maybe put this in front of this because this will get like 2 feet tall. And so we're going to talk about that this summer. I'm going to show you placement. Like, where do you put them? How do you put them? How do you know where to put them? So, and the pink is really nice. It's a nice cool tone pink. So it's one of those pinks that can go with a lot of different things. You can go a lot of different ways with it. And that's why it makes such a great filler, because it has that color. So Paige asks, does anyone know if Costco still has big pots? I hope they do. I grabbed me 2 more last time I went to Costco because they're such a great deal. In fact, you want to see my porch pots that I planted? I don't have any roses in them, so don't hate me. But there's my Costco pots. Such a great deal. I did a lot of like hot colors with lantana and verbena and cannas and stuff this year. But my gypsy garden, as you can see from my house, I have a tan colored house. And so when I was first thinking about color selection, I was thinking more like bright colors would be really pretty against this. But then I realized I want to keep it soft. So I'm going to go have this be like my inspiration. And I'm going to go with a lot of like lavenders and purples and peaches and whites. So like another cut flower that's really good is this is Armeria or Sea Thrift. These are so great too because they have these nice long stems and they last a long time in the vase because they're very papery. But I thought that would look really pretty with gypsy in a cut garden. So I don't know if you guys want to see some of these. I can show you some of the different plants that we're going to be planting together within our gypsy garden. But I'll just see if there's. I need to put the 2 climbers I got from my mom in some pots. I need more. Yeah, Paige, I know it's such a great deal. I love pin cushions. I do too. I actually have 3 different color pin cushions here. I have like an orchid color one, a lavender, and a white. So I'm definitely going to add pin cushions in my garden. They're very, very hardy. So yeah, Sea Thrift comes in all different colors, bright pinks. I've seen it in purples. I just really love the white because it just looks like these little snowballs like popping up. And I thought it would look really pretty with this pink gypsy. Let's show you some other fun things I think will go good with gypsy. So one of the things when I'm designing a garden, I always want to consider is texture and color of the foliage. So another thing that looks really good with this shade of pink is anything in the blues. And so this is a blue fescue. Now, I'm not going to probably use this much in arrangements, but I do want it to kind of stop the color. It's just a place to stop your eye. And I think the texture and the color look really cool together. They're also really drought tolerant and really low maintenance, and they're native. So I'm going to be using some of these all along the border. This will be great in front of pink tumbleweed. Look how pretty that is with that blue and the pink. So that'll be part of our garden. So just look at this little combo. You have like a white Armeria and a blue fescue and a gypsy. Look how pretty that is together. And then let's add in our pincushion flower with this lavender. So you see that lavender and that blue? Look how pretty that looks together. This is kind of the color palette plus a peach. I'm going to put in peach too. One of the other roses, I'm incorporating, of course, lots of roses in my cut flower garden. One of them is going to be Lady of Shalott. I'm going to have her climb up on my guardrail. So I definitely want some peaches in there too. So we're going to have so much fun building this gypsy garden together. And I'm going to teach you all about how to plant a garden that's for cuts. So let's see what else we have here. Some of the things, for drought tolerance, because drought tolerance is important for me. Now, if you're in the East Coast, you could probably care less about that. But for me in my garden, drought tolerance is really vital. I want something that once they're established could live if it doesn't get water for a couple weeks. Like it could maintain. So another really important plant for me, when you're thinking about cut gardens, you want to think about foliage, right? You know, things that you can harvest that maybe not add maybe flower power, but add some really good base. And one of my favorite drought tolerant foliage plants here in Utah is called ligustrum or privet. And there's this beautiful golden one. I love it because it's evergreen here. There's not a lot of broadleaf evergreen plants in zone 6, but privet is one of them. And privet comes in like a gold foliage, a green foliage. If you live in California, you probably have hedgerows of this everywhere, but such a great companion plant for drought tolerance and also to add in some foliage. So I also think like lemon colors would look really good with this. You guys are going to see in the garden, next time we're going to do kind of soil prep. I have this beautiful weeping Golden Falls redbud that has gold leaves. So I want to make sure I'm adding gold in the garden to help kind of tie it all together. So I'm looking for like other gold leafed foliage plants. Another one of my favorites is that's really drought tolerant that can add a lot of color and also add flowers type is a sedum. So this is sometimes it's called stone crop. This one's called Autumn Charm. It has a variegated leaf, but look how cute that's going to be. And this has a pink flower on it. So you want to think of like different size leaves and different colors and different textures. So it'll help pull that gold foliage throughout my flower bed. So, all right. Yeah, blue fescue. Yep, that was blue fescue. This is one's called, holy cow, it's so windy here. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Oh my gosh, my plants might blow over. This is what happens in Utah. Like it's as still as can be, and then we get these crazy winds that come down the canyon. Another reason why things have to be drought tolerant here, because imagine how much the plants are transpiring when they have wind going across them. So drought tolerance for me, one of the most key things. So yeah, so this is blue fescue. This one's called Elijah blue. It's really common. You can find it anywhere, most garden centers. So you can just see how pretty that is, those blue tones. And if we add in like a gold foliage plant too, it's such a pretty combo. Okay, let's see if there's any questions. I have seen them everywhere. I love those. Yeah. Hi, Kenzie. Kenzie's just coming in. Nice to see you. Susan asked if it's a dwarf variety of ligustrum. Yeah, this is a proven winners variety. This one is called Golden Ticket. And let me see its height. 4 to 6 feet tall and wide. So here in Utah, I probably won't get that tall. Most ligustrum stays like 3 to 4. But in places like California, it would probably get the full 6 foot. So, but such a beautiful golden texture. So really like ligustrum. Okay, what else can I show you that I think is going to be fun for our garden? My drought tolerant cutting gypsy garden that we're going to grow together. So this one doesn't have any flowers on it right now, but this is a lilac called Bloomerang Dark Purple. So, you know, part of my gypsy garden, when I bring plants into my home, they have to smell good. Either smell like nothing or smell good. There are some plants that I can't handle the fragrance on. Like salvia is one of them. I love salvia in a garden. I don't like touching it. I don't like bringing it in because it stinks. So like, I'm not going to put certain species of salvia in this garden. And lilacs, I love lilacs, but sometimes when I bring them in, it's like overpowering. And so I like the bloomerangs for a couple of reasons. And they have a fragrance, but it's more mild, and they bloom twice. So they'll have a second rebloom, so you can enjoy it again. So these ones are they're dwarf, and they're compact. And lilacs, when they're established, are like really low maintenance, super drought tolerant. So I'm definitely going to put a couple of these more compact lilacs in my gypsy garden. So Let's see, what else can I talk about to do in our gypsy garden? Let's see, I'm gonna grab, hang on, let me go back here and grab a couple other things. I'm gonna grab a couple things. Another thing you always wanna consider in a cutting garden, and what I'm gonna consider is making sure you're planting things that bloom at different times, right? Because in a cutting garden, whether it's April or October, I wanna be able to walk out and cut something and bring it inside. Um, so there's some plants here that bloom at different times that we're gonna talk about. So this is kind of like spring, summer, fall. Things that are really important. So let's talk about the spring one first. Another thing I have to consider where I live is deer resistance. Deer love roses, and so I'm going to surround it by things that are deer resistant. And one of the plants that are really deer resistant is our flowering onions, alliums. Sometimes you might recognize them. Alliums come in so many different shapes and sizes. You can buy those huge bulbs that are like this big and get huge, like flower heads this big. And then there's other varieties that stay more compact and have lots of little ones. These are super drought tolerant. In fact, at one point in my career, I sold like green roofs for going on top of roofs. And there's very few plants that can like live in that environment. Allium is one of them. Allium, sedum, coral bells, they're super drought tolerant, super tough. And there are certain alliums that will bloom on and off throughout the year, and this is one of them. So great cut flower, deer resistant, super drought tolerant, gives you that cool like shape and form in a cut arrangement. So allium will be one. I also like allium in a way because it's kind of like grass-like and strappy. And so you can have like different textures, right? So always keep that in mind. You want to have different textures for interest in your gypsy garden. Let's talk about the summer bloomer. So that's mostly a spring bloomer. Okay, I love penstemons. I'm kind of a penstemon nerd. There's a lot of breeding being done in penstemons right now. Penstemons in Utah are fantastic. They're native here, super drought tolerant, deer resistant, and they attract hummingbirds, which I love hummingbirds. We have little hummingbirds that come around, and I want to make sure and give them something too. But they also make cool cut flowers. You can see how long their stems are. This is one in particular that has a burgundy foliage. There's all different types of penstemons out there. You just got to be careful zone hardiness on them. But just look how pretty that foliage is with that gypsy rose. So the cool thing is you always have gypsy roses in bloom, and then you can bring different foliage and textures in with other things. So penstemon mostly blooms in the summer. As you can see, it's just starting here. They're just starting to open. So super drought tolerant, great perennial for your cut garden. And then I couldn't call myself a drought tolerant gardener if I didn't have some Russian sage. So Russian sage is super drought tolerant, super deer resistant, super low maintenance. This one's called denim and lace. It's a more compact form of it. Sometimes Russian sage can get really, really big. But look at that cool foliage. It kind of reminds me of like Spanish lavender. And it's not bad for a sage plant. I don't always like the smell of sage, but I don't mind Russian sage. So Russian sage is a fun kind of vertical purple. And so once again, see how gypsy goes with everything? That's what's so amazing about it, is tons of blooms, goes with all different types of gardens. So that's another thing you want to consider is spring, summer, fall. You want to have lots of different flowers in your gypsy garden, your cut garden, to make sure that you have something unique and different, and your bouquet can change throughout the season. And of course, roses, right? Don't worry, we're gonna have lots of roses. I have all my bare root roses that I brought in. They leafed out beautifully, even though I brought them in January in Utah and planted them. They got nipped by frost a few times and they flushed back out. Bare root roses can be super resilient if you just give them some time and some patience. So what else I want to show you? Some other fun things. I mean, could I call myself a cut gardener if I didn't have some peonies? I know some of you started receiving our peonies from our grower out east, and they're huge, huh? They're bigger than this one. This is just one I got at my local garden center, but peonies are really low maintenance once you get them going. And my rule of thumb with peonies is the bigger you buy them, the better you're gonna like them. So peonies can be pretty slow if you buy them little. So if you have a chance and a choice, the bigger the better with peonies is always my rule of thumb. Because once they start going, they're pretty easy to maintain. So of course I want peonies in my cut gypsy garden. I'll show you a couple other things, and then I'll take some questions, and then don't worry, we're gonna have lots of time. I'll list all the plants, and you'll get to see me plant all of these. So this is another plant that I love for more for texture than anything. You know, you could cut these, I guess, and put them in arrangement, but my plan is not to do that with these. This is mostly for texture. This is called lamb's ear. So lamb's ear is very deer resistant because it's so soft. It's like, that's why they call it lamb's ear. It's super soft, but it has a cool texture, a cool color. Once it gets bigger, it's very silver. So you can see how pretty that silver is with that cool tone pink. So I'm trying to get some of those silver tones into the garden as well, to really make some really nice foliage statements. Let's see. Let's talk about, I'll show you one more, and then actually I'll show you two more. I'll show you two more really good cutting flowers. That would be great with gypsy rose. This is called Amsonia. This is not a very well-known perennial, but it's starting to make I think its debut in the US a little bit more. Here's a picture of this. This one's called Storm Cloud. This is a beautiful bluish light purple, and it blooms in the spring, and it comes out with these super dark stems. Amsonia is so pretty as a foliage piece, and it's super low maintenance, and it's a great cut. So just another cool texture that we're going to be adding to our gypsy garden. So these long stems are like kind of burgundy. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it makes kind of a cool foliage even afterwards too. So that's called Amsonia. And I love blue. Blue's such a hard color to find in the garden, right? Like true blue. Like in horticulture, we like to call lavenders blue because it's as close as we can get us. When you find something that really is blue, like Amsonia and things like this, you know, I'm kind of a blue nerd. So I like to try and bring those colors into the garden because they just make people stop and say, whoa, what is that? And they're going to look great with gypsy. And the last one we're going to talk about, and then we'll talk a little bit more about gypsy, is yarrow. So yarrow, there's nothing blooming right now, although it's starting to. Yarrow is such a great cut flower, and it's super low maintenance. It looks like a fern, and I guess these long stems on it. So this one's white, comes in all different colors, but I always want to make sure to have white in the garden, especially because my primary colors are going to be like whites, blues, lavenders, purples, pinks, peaches, kind of really soft colors. And then highlights of my gold will be my highlights. So anyway, yarrow is a wonderful flower, and super low maintenance, super drought tolerant. And also that texture is really cool. Look how ferny it is. So, hey, these are some of the fun things that we're going to plant together in our gypsy cut flower garden this summer. So I'll show you gypsy one more time. In fact, actually, you know what? While we're together, we're going to cut some gypsy stems and add it to my bouquet here. So let's see. Look at that one stem. Look how beautiful that is. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 flowers on that one stem. And this is off of a 1 gallon, a young plant. Just imagine what it's going to be after it's in your garden for a couple of years. You're going to have so many of these stems. You're going to be cutting flowers like crazy. So I have a little bouquet here of miyabi. We all love miyabi. And then this is our new one, Fatima Gardens. This one is so pretty. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. This is a brand new cut rose. If you guys haven't tried Fatima Gardens yet, you should try it. But I'm just gonna add in some gypsy into these. So the floral arranger, as you guys know, but I'm gonna try my best. Let's see. We should have Jenny and Gracie do this. But it's fun to learn new things, right? We always have to stretch ourselves and try new things. Try new plants, there we go. Okay, let's do a couple more cuts. That's what's great about it is like even on this tiny little 1-gallon plant, I'm getting all of these flowers. Just imagine if it's in your yard and it's like a couple years old. Okay, let's put some of this in here. See how much taller it is than pink tumbleweed? It's so great for bouquets because it's so long. It stems all the way down in there. Look at that. Gypsy is just like the perfect cut flower for such a cool texture. And all of this came off of, I'm going to show it to you. 2 little 1 gallons, and they still have flowers on them. So just imagine how many flowers you're going to get off of these. So we're really excited to introduce this. It's exclusive to us in the US. You can't find it anywhere else. And we have a great introductory price on them. So $39 for this exact plant, although I just cut 2 stems off of this. So we hope you enjoy it. Okay, let's see. The shipping is $10 a plant. So it's $10 a plant. Let's see. Is Gypsy an early bloomer? Yeah, Gypsy, I would say Gypsy is probably in the same timeline as pink tumbleweed. So if you have a pink tumbleweed, it'll be the same in your yard. What are the roses in the vase? Good question, Sema. This is Miyabi, this here. We love Miyabi. I'm so excited where I saw we have Miyabi in a bare root program in the ground. And I had a chance a week ago to go check out our crop, and they're doing really well. Especially Miyabi and Princess Kishi. Really, really liking those ones, especially. So we're excited. We're going to have Miyabi for you in spring of 27. Takes a long time, right? Roses take a long time. That's what Miyabi looks like. So, and then this one is Fatima Gardens. This is a new cut rose out of Colombia. So has an incredible fragrance. Like sometimes florist roses have just this really generic kind of floral smell. I really like this one. It's fresh and light and not overpowering. So yeah, so those are the ones. And then we have Gypsy Rose in there. So see how Gypsy is kind of fun. It just gives it a lot of texture. Let's see, you know what we could do too? Let's do some pincushion flower. Let's do a little arrangement together. Such a simple, easy, low maintenance cut flower garden is all what about Gypsy gardening is about. Low maintenance cuts. Okay, we're gonna take just one stem of this Gypsy Rose off of here with some pincushion flower. Look how pretty that is. Let's see, what else can we grab? Oh, you know what? I have another rose here I want to show you. Hang on, let me grab it. It's just about, these ones are just about bloomed out. But I wanted to show you, about a week ago, we released some true 1 gallon proven winner roses. So this is the size that they are. This one's called Reminiscent Coral. It is so fragrant. This is bred by Finogino. I have a blog I'm going to drop about this rose and about the breeder of this rose. It's this group of women in Serbia who are breeding garden-friendly cut roses. And so Proven Winners has this series called the Reminiscent series, like reminiscent, get it? Such a clever name. I was so jealous of that name when I was at Star. I was like, oh man, that's such a great name. That one's spent. But look at that form of that flower as it opens. And let's put this one. Now this one's more of a coral color. It's a warm tone. So let's see what Gypsy would look like with this. maybe would not necessarily put corals with this one, but hey, let's try it. So we're gonna do some gypsy rose and some pincushion flowers. Look how cute that is. Such a simple, easy bouquet. All of these, reminiscent. They're bred for disease resistance and low maintenance and fragrance. Gypsy rose and pincushion flower. So, anyway, I think that's a great little bouquet. Let's put that here in my vase. So this summer, you're going to come with me along the journey. I hope you join me, and we're going to learn all about how to plan and out a cut rose garden. I'm going to call it a gypsy garden because that's the reason why we grow roses, right? Is so we can do these amazing little things, even just something little like this. You can take to a neighbor or a friend. Let's poke these in there too. Anyway, it's so fun. It's fun to be able to do this. So come along with me this summer and learn how to plant a gypsy garden. Let's see if we have any questions. I think gypsy would look nice with Francis Mayon too. Yeah, I think you're right, because Francis Mayon has that pretty like blush in the middle. I think it'd be really pretty with Francis. Let's see if I missed any. I'm going to scroll up here a little bit. Paige is excited for Gypsy Rose. Bye. Have fun with your kiddos. How long does she last in a vase? Good question, Sharon. So that has such a long vase life, and that's why a lot of florists grow it. It's 10 to 14 days, depending upon how you cut and the stage of cut. So super long vase life. That's what it was bred for. It was meant for, but it's also an outdoor garden rose, which is wonderful. So you get the best of both worlds, a super long vase life and a prolific bloomer and a prolific grower. So I would say the only problems with disease that I've seen in it is sometimes it can get some powdery mildew, just because the foliage is small and it can be dense. So just give it lots of room and lots of airflow around it, and just keep an eye out for that. So it performs the best in bright, sunny, warm days and cool nights. Is its absolute best performance, but I've seen it grow in a lot of different places. I've seen it in coastal California. I've seen it in my yard in upstate New York. I've seen it in Pennsylvania. I've seen it in hot, dry California, like inland California, and it's always really beautiful. So deep south, I think maybe you'd have to just watch out for a little bit for powdery mildew. So. Okay, is gypsy low maintenance? Yeah, it's definitely low maintenance, except for maybe what those things I just talked about. If you have issues with spider mites, sometimes because anytime you have a plant that's dense, just try and keep the foliage moist, like we talked about with spider mites. So, let's see what other questions there are. Yeah, Miyabi and Fatima Gardens. Yeah. When will we be getting Miyabi? Good question. Yeah, so it'll be spring 27, Ashley. Of course, we're gonna watch our crop closely and make sure it's still staying healthy all summer. And I'll always keep you guys updated. But that's the next scheduled drop of Miyabi, is spring of 27. So I'll show you that one more time. So we have Miyabi. This is reminiscent coral from Proven Winners. We had a custom 1 gallon crop grown of this, and it's incredible. It's really pretty. We have all the colors of the reminiscent series, so check them out. There's yellow, there's cream, there's pink. I don't think we have the new ginger yet. That's the only one we don't have. That one's brand new. But just a really wonderful, highly tested variety, fragrant rose from Serbia. So, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, Gypsy Rose. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. If not, I'll let you guys go. We're going to have so much fun next week. April says, how do I get that shirt? Did we go over that? I just one for me. This is like a one and only. I don't know. Would you guys actually buy stuff like this if we did stuff like this? I literally did this on Rush Order Tees. if you guys ever used that, but we have this really beautiful logo that Gracie created. Isn't it pretty? Look at it. It's our cute gypsy woman. And it says, a celestial beauty guided by the sun and moon. So anyway, I thought it was kind of cute too. So Joanne says, Heidi, can you please give a girl some hope? When is Fair Bianca coming? Great question. We get that question a lot. I actually talked to our grower 2 days ago about Fair Bianca, and there is some in production. I'll be going out to look at them in 2 weeks. It might be a little while. Fair Bianca is really hard to propagate, and it's very slow. So it's funny because Fair Bianca is not the best grower in the world. It likes it hot, and so it just needs it needs heat to keep it going. So I don't want to promise anything, but it is in production. I'm going to go take a look at it in 2 weeks. So April says, what? We will buy that. Okay, good. Oh, Aaron likes it too. V-neck, I agree, right? Like I feel like a boy. Like maybe we could do a V-neck of it or something. I don't know. I think it's kind of fun though. It's kind of, I did it like faded, so it has that kind of like I don't know, what's it called? Rock and roll like t-shirt look. I don't know. Okay. All right. Any other questions about Gypsy and what we're going to do? Tune in next week. Next week, we're going to do like bed layout. I'm going to talk about like how to lay out a bed. And then I'm actually going to do and take soil for a soil test. So we're going to learn a little bit about like the prep work needed to start a garden from scratch. So I hope you tune in next week. You're going to follow me all summer. We're going to do a little bit of everything, top to bottom, starting with nothing. How do you actually create a gypsy garden, a cut garden? So, all right. Let's see, is there anything vintage look? That's the word I was looking for, Lisa. And for all the Wanderlust roses. Yes, we need pink tumbleweed. We have our cute little cowgirl. We need to have our little cowgirl on there. So, all right. If there's no more questions, you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend. I know I'm going camping for 4 days in the middle of nowhere, Utah. So I'm excited to have a little break and come back fresh. So we appreciate all of you and everything that you do for us. We just want you to know that. And we're excited to have lots of great content coming this summer for you guys and lots of cool new drops. So keep an eye out for those, especially in June. We've got another set of exclusives coming at the end of June for Pollinator Week. So check back then with us. And you guys have an awesome Memorial Day weekend. Hope you get outside or in the garden or spend time with your families because, that's what it's all about, right? So, all right. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much.